Hey everybody, it's Chris Caddo, your Chief Performance Partner and your author of Premiership Business. Now, I'm just about to hop on that Qantas flight across the Pacific, and Qantas, it's probably, in my mind, one of the world's best airlines. And I love flying Qantas. Why? Because it makes me feel comfortable. I'm comfortable with the culture and I'm comfortable with the way people work. Now, culture is one of those critical things in life and in business. Understanding culture really helps you communicate. Understanding other people's culture really helps you communicate. It's not just accepted norms or accepted behaviours, as sometimes people try to group culture into. It's actually more than that, because it's your body language, it's the way you talk, your tonality, what's accepted in the way you wear your clothes, or the way you greet other people, or the way you gesture. So culture is multifaceted, and if you're good with culture, you'd tend to be good with people if you understand culture, that is. Now let me give you an example of how culture, although sometimes we think it's similar, just small nuances in the way we use words has a big effect on how people perceive our culture or what we're trying to say. Once upon a time I used to work in London, and I worked for the BBC, and I worked in a small finance office in one of the divisions of the BBC, and in there was a, I don't know, maybe a room. Where I was a room about, I don't know, perhaps it could fit only about 10 people, 10 staff. And as I walked in the door one day after getting myself a coffee, I announced to everybody in the room, I just stained my pants. And everybody just stopped and looked at me like I was a bit crazy. Crazy Australian guy, what's he doing telling everybody he stained his pants? Well, you see, in Australia, your pants are your trousers. Well, in England, your pants is commonly used as a term for your underwear. So everybody thought I just walked in the room and shared that I'd literally stained my underwear, which was obviously not the case. But that just goes to show how the silence in the room was based on just some small differences in how we use language. Now, those small differences in how you use language and what people perceive can make a big difference in the way your people interact with each other, or how you close a deal, if you understand the culture of the business that you're dealing with, or if you understand the culture of your staff, and you have a great monoculture, a similar culture within your organisation, and everybody knows what's accepted and what we do. Now, I think Qantas has a bit of a rough deal sometimes, because people don't really understand Australian culture, and I think Australian culture, we can be quite brash and quite to the point, and Qantas really should be up there in the rankings as one of at least the top 3 or 4 airlines in the world for service. But I can just imagine though that, for example, if a flight attendant, if somebody was to ask a flight attendant for something, and they'll say, yeah, sure, in common Australian colloquial terms, and walked away, that the person being served, if they weren't Australian, would think that it's pretty abrupt and rude. But what the flight attendant was actually saying was, I'm about to go do it. So I'd understand that, interpret that as being fine, but perhaps if you were European or American or Asian, you might think, geez, that was a bit abrupt, it was a bit rude. But it actually wasn't. It's the Australian way of saying, I'm going to do it. It's a bit like the term, sometimes we use the term, no worries, or she'll be right. What we're actually saying is that it's going to happen, we're going to do things, whereas some people might interpret that as being a bit nonplussed. So culture is a real critical thing, understanding culture. So do you understand the culture of your clients? Do you understand the culture of the people in your business? And do you make sure that everybody understands the culture of how you guys, as a team, go about your work? Because understanding culture is just one of those critical factors that will get your business ahead. And having a good culture where everybody's on the same page and everybody understands the nuances of the body language, the way you use your language, is just critical. So culture is bigger than just accepted behaviour. Culture is critical in your communications, and communications is more than just words. It's tonality, it's body language, it's accepted gestures, accepted ways of using language, accepted meanings of words and phrases. So have a think about the culture in your business and how you can actually get ahead by understanding the culture of the people around you and the culture of your clientele, and critically, what's the core culture of your business so you can get ahead and make sure that everyone's on the same page, communicating the right way, and making sure that you maximise the assets around you. Alright, so hopefully this flight will be a good flight, and I'm sure it will be actually, flying with Qantas, one of my favourite airlines. So now, as I always say, as I close up, make sure that, make sure you understand, darkness is the first enemy of mankind. So surround yourself with people who enlighten your world. Bye for now.